Man, I knew Jesus could turn water into wine, but I had no idea he could turn a coconut into a coconut. That's pretty awesome. That's what Pastor Jason calls himself because he's brown on the outside and white on the inside. You guys didn't know that? That's awesome. What's up, you guys? How you doing? Wow. Jordan, I'm glad that you are good because, hey, I thought you had to sit in the front row. You lost a bet. In case everybody didn't know, Jordan bet me that we couldn't make $20,000 at the crab feed last week. We made over $20,000. So for the next month, he has to wear a suit and he has to sit in the front row. Everybody tell Jordan to get in the front row. Come on, man, you lost the bet. Pay up. Get up here. You could always just give me a $100 bill and I'd be fine with that too. Hi. That's not the front row, son. That's not the front row, son. That's not the front row, son. Everybody, somebody push him up here. Get him to get in the front row. Jordan, get up in the front row. Pay up. Pay your dues, son. What in the world? You lost a bet. You're trying to snivel out of it. All right, so we started before spring break a message series called Jesus is Cool. Say Jesus is Cool. Wow, you guys are lame tonight. Are you guys like super tired or something? Jesus is cooler than the what? The Stratus? Like the Stratosphere? That's like a tower downtown. That's old school. That's awesome. So we started before spring break. Jesus is cool. We picked up after spring break, but Jesus is still cool because Jesus is still cool. We've been going through the book of John, just chapter by chapter, seeing all the things that Jesus did that are so cool. This week we're in John chapter 9. Who has a Bible? Let me see it. Hold it up in the air. Whether it is an e-version, a tree version, it's on a device, or it's got pages, wave at me. Say word! 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 Man, you guys are so sad tonight. What is happening? Is it that you're like at the end of the school year, like doldrums? You're like, I just want it to be summer vacation. Oh. Or maybe you're just staying up way too late playing The Legend of Zelda. Some nerds in here are doing that. Okay, so I am. So real quick, we're jumping into John chapter 9. This is a message called Jesus Plays in the Mud. Because Jesus loved to play in the mud. Jesus did some crazy things. We're just going to jump right into the word. By the way, anybody ever make mud pies when you were a kid? Yeah? Anybody still make mud pies? Still make mud pies? That's cool, that's cool. All right, let me ask you this. Anybody ever been mudding? Do you know what mudding is? Just a few of you. Is Abby Johnson here? She knows what mudding is. I've been with her parents. For those that don't know, mudding is... It's when you go drive in the mud in a four-wheel drive vehicle of some type or a motorcycle that can go in the mud. So, for example, on the other side of the mountain, just right over there on the way to Boulder City, there's a dry lake bed. Did you guys know there's a dry lake bed right over there? That dry lake bed is super long and super flat. In fact, it's so long and flat that if you shoot a bullet from one end to the other, you can actually see the bullet skipping across the sand because it's so long and flat. Don't ask me how I know that. So, out there in the dry lake bed, every time it rains, that dry lake bed is no longer dry. Okay, you guys are super smart. I'm glad your brains are working. Okay, no longer dry. In fact, it's got a thick layer of dirt that no longer is dirt and dust. It becomes a big old thick layer of mud. And for those that go out mudding, you just literally, you hit the gas in there, and if you got a blue vehicle, it's no longer blue, it's brown. It's like covered in thick gooeys, and it's so much fun. If you've never been mudding, find a person that has a Jeep and ask them to take you mudding because you will not regret it. It is spectacular. Okay, so mud, right? We love mud. Now, mud is fun. Cow pies are not not fun. Okay, so you gotta know the difference between a cow pie and mud. Everybody knows the difference, right? Yes. Mud is usually found in like a puddle of some kind or a pool that goes like into an indentation in the ground. A cow pie comes out of the ground, looks very similar to mud. I'm going to tell you right now, but it's not mud because it's cow poo-poo, and you don't want to put that on you. I did say poo-poo. It's not the first time I've said that from a pulpit, and it's probably not the worst thing I've ever said from the pulpit. Just ask Pastor Jason. So, did you just say you're like 50? I'm going to punch you in the face, kid. You have no idea. I have a black belt in death, and I will kill you. So, jumping into the Word, John chapter 9. Jesus and his disciples are walking along, and they see a guy at the temple entrance. They're on their way to church who was blind from birth. That means he was born, what? Blind. Okay, you guys are smart. You're following along. You're doing good. Rabbi, his disciples say to him, why was this man born blind? Was it because he sinned or because his parents sinned? Now, hold on. How many of y'all think that that is just jacked up logic? Yeah? They'd be like looking at our poor friend Hunter right here and be like, Rabbi, why is his arm in a sling? Is it because he sinned or because his parents sinned? Sorry, bro. I'm going to tell you what I think. That's a jacked up piece of logic, right? What? Why is poor Ashley on a scooter with a cast on her foot? Is because she sinned? I think so. She's pretty twisted. Oh. That's a great friend you have there. Wow, that's frightening. So listen. Jesus is like, oh, guys, you still don't get it. You're not understanding. That's not the way things work here. He says this, it was not because of his sins or his parents' sins. But, Jesus answered, this happened so the power of God could be seen in him. We must quickly carry out the tasks assigned to us by the one who sent us. For the night is coming and then no one can work. But while I am here in the world, I am the light of the world. And then, oh, this is my favorite part. And then, you know what? Let's pretend we're blind. Anybody ever pretended you're blind? Like as a kid, you ever put on a blindfold and try to walk around? All right, so here's what I want you to do. I want you to close your eyes. Everybody, close your eyes. No peeking, all right? No peeking under any circumstances. Nobody is allowed to peek right now, all right? So you got your eyes closed. Everybody's got their eyes closed, correct? So I want you to imagine you're a blind guy. Your only means of making a living, making an income is to sit at the entrance of the temple and beg and hope that somebody gives you a quarter so that you can go get a hot dog or something, right? And so you're just chilling there. And all of a sudden you hear Jesus walking up, and you know it's Jesus because you've heard him teaching, and he teaches with authority. He's got a pretty distinct voice. And all of a sudden you hear him talking about a blind guy, and you hear him talking about this blind guy and being like, and people asking, well, did he sin or did his parents sin that he was born blind? And you're like, hey, I'm right here. And so you're thinking, what's wrong with these people? Why are they even talking like this? And next thing you know, here is what you hear. Wait, hold on. Ready? Close your eyes. Close your eyes. Don't ruin this. Don't ruin the effect. You're a blind guy. Close your eyes. Don't ruin it. Don't ruin the effect. Wait, one more time. Ready? Okay, wait, hold on. Ready? Still got your eyes closed. You're still a blind guy. So you hear that. Then you hear this. My spit is dripping on the floor. I bet that's never happened during a message before. Then, okay, so you hear somebody talking about you. You hear somebody walk up to you. You hear them spit on the ground in front of you. You hear them scooping that gooey mess, and the next thing you know, The next thing you know, the next thing, come on, man, don't single yourself out. The next thing you know, hi. The next thing you know, who's got glasses? Who wants to get rid of your glasses tonight? Let's see if this actually works. Should we see if this works? All right. I won't go that far. All right. Okay. Next thing you know, you feel someone smear something goopy and sticky and moist on your face. Hold on. You're a poor, sad, blind dude. All you're trying to do is make a living. You hear people talking about you. You hear the guy that was talking about you walk up to you. You're thinking, oh, cool, he's going to come talk to me. He's going to come help me. Maybe he'll give me $1. I can go get a Costco hot dog. And the next thing you know, you hear him spit on the ground. You hear him swirling that around in the dirt. And you feel that get slapped in your face. How many of y'all think that's just messed up? All right, shh. So listen. Jesus said, I am the light of the world. He spit on the ground, made mud with the saliva, and spread the mud over the blind man's eyes. Jesus plays in the mud. The first thing that we want to remember tonight is this. When you let him, Jesus gets down in the mud in your life. Okay? This guy was blind. For you, who knows what it could be? I don't know what your 13 reasons why are, but whatever they are, Jesus wants to get into the mix of all that muck and all that mud and all that gunk and all that nastiness, and he wants to mix it up. Because when he mixes it up, something happens that you cannot explain. Something happens that you cannot describe. Something happens that you cannot comprehend. When he gets down in the mud and mixes it up, miracles take place. All right, so listen. Let's pick it up from right there. Jesus told him, go wash yourself in the pool of Siloam. How many of you guys are going to be like, yeah, I'm going to go wash myself. You just put spit mud in my face. Gross. Can somebody lead me to the pool of Siloam, please? Because I can't make it there on my own. I'm a blind dude in first century Middle East. I don't even have a sticky thing or a dog because people eat dogs. They don't even use them for helper dogs right now. So he goes down there. And here's what I want you to keep your eyes closed the whole rest of the time. Everybody else gets to open your eyes. Go ahead and open your eyes. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead and open your eyes. So he goes down to the pool of Siloam, right? And he scoops a little bit of water into his hand. And he starts to wipe off the mud. And he's kind of blinking, and he's like, wait a minute. It's not dark anymore. What in the world is happening? What is this brightness? It's kind of bright. It's weird. And he dips his hand in the water again, and he keeps getting more mud off. And he kind of blinks his eyes, and he's like, wait a minute. I'm seeing, like, shapes. What in the world is what are you? You're a shape and a figure in front of me that's weird. And next thing you know, he dips his hand, and he's like, I can see! You're a boy, and you're a girl! I can see you all, and you have brown hair, and you have blonde hair, and you're both wearing headphones in church. And so, oh my gosh, what is happening? So he can see, and he's getting all excited. He starts running around, telling everybody, I can see! I can see, I can see, I can see! And he's so excited. And his neighbors and other people who knew him started asking each other, isn't this the guy that used to sit and beg? And some said, yes, that's him. It was like, no, it just looks like him. But the guy kept saying, I'm the guy. I was the blind guy. I was sitting right over there. But now I'm not blind anymore. And then they asked him, who healed you? What happened? He told them, there was this dude named Jesus. And at first I thought he was real messed up because he came and spit on the ground and made some mud, and he slapped it in my face and put it on my eyes. But then he said, go wash in the pool of Siloam. And I went down and I washed, and now I can see. Where is he now, they asked. I don't know, he replied. All right, so when you let him Jesus gets down in the mud in your life, right? Next thing is this. When Jesus gets down in the mud in your life, miracles happen. Miracles happen. Guys, I can't even tell you, right now in my life, I have seen miracles. I have seen people healed in front of my very eyes. I have seen demons flee. I have seen the things described in the New Testament with my own two eyes. It's all real. It's all legit. And if you simply trust and obey, you will see it too. You will experience firsthand the power of an almighty God. Miracles happen. So they took the man to the Pharisees. Oh, man, the Pharisees. You guys all know the Pharisees, right? Pharisees are the religious people. Don't you love religious people? They're the best. Religious people. Religious people are people who are bound up by rules, regulations, laws, ordinances. You must obey. You must follow. You must do what I think you should do. Now, I'm not talking about black and white truth from the Word of God where it says thou shalt not, right? That's like absolutely abundantly clear. Don't kill people is clear, right? It says it right there. But when people are starting to put their own religious rules and regulations and all kinds of stuff on people because it's their personal opinion and their personal interpretation of what God's word says, that's when things get dangerous. And that's what these religious people did, these Pharisees. One of the biggest things they did it about was the Sabbath, okay? You guys ever heard about the Sabbath day? Sabbath day is supposed to be a great day. Anybody like a day off? Did you know that God loves you so much, he commanded from the beginning of time, take a dang day off, dummy. Rest. Get yourself some chill time. Just relax. Have a barbecue. Take a nap. Eat a bowl of cereal. Play some video games. Just don't do nothing. Isn't that good? Man, God is good. But here's what these religious people said. They said, oh, this is a command and ordinance. We must follow this to the letter of the law. And so therefore, if you decided that you needed to clean your bathroom on the Sabbath day, you were going to get stoned. And I don't mean like stoned like the homeboys that hang out behind the lunchroom at your school. Maybe you hang out with them. I don't know. Whatever. That's cool. That's not my thing to judge. Okay, but I'm talking like they would throw rocks at you until you were dead. Okay? Somebody was hurt. They didn't care. You don't help a hurt person on the Sabbath day because it's a day of rest. You don't do anything. You don't go anywhere. You don't prepare a meal for your kids like your kids are hungry. I don't care if your kids are hungry. You don't do nothing on the Sabbath day. How many of you guys think that that is just ridiculous religious rules and regulations? Okay? This is something that God intended for good. Like, hey, take a day off, chill, relax, sleep in. And they're like, no, we must make it a regulation. So listen, these Pharisees, they began to ask the guy about what happened. They asked him, what took place? So he told them, look, Jesus, this guy, he put mud on my eyes. When I washed it away, I could see. Some of the Pharisees, they were getting ticked off. They were like, this man, Jesus, is not from God. He is working on the Sabbath. Ooh, they didn't like that. Others said, how could an ordinary sinner do such miraculous signs? There was such a deep division among the people there. They began to argue amongst themselves. The Pharisees again questioned the man who had been blind and demanded, what is your opinion on this man who healed you? The man replied, listen, I think he's a prophet. He's definitely got something positive going on. The Jewish leaders still refused to believe the man had been born blind and could now see. So they called his parents. They called his mom and dad. Okay? They're like, we don't believe you. We're going to call your mom and dad. So his mom and dad are like, what's happening? George, why are they bringing us into the temple? I don't know, Martha. It's very strange what's happening here. I
don't understand it. Is that our boy over there? Yes, that's our son. Son, what are you doing here? Good God, son, can you see? Yes, Dad, I can see.
What? So they ask him, okay? They ask him, is this your son? and they're like, is this your son? Was he healed? What is happening here? How is he born? Was he born blind? Can he now see? What's going on? His parents are like,
Listen, we know this is our son, okay. And I know he was born blind. I was there. I promise. At that moment, when he was taken out of the birth canal, and the afterbirth followed, all of the placenta and things. It was gross. And his eyes didn't work. It was weird. It was creepy. Sorry, it's too much? Too far? It's like hell. So he says, listen, we don't know how he can see or who healed him. You ask him. He's old enough to speak for himself. His parents said this because they were afraid of the Jewish leaders who had announced that anyone who said Jesus was the Messiah would be kicked out of the church. And that's why they said he's old enough to ask him. So for the second time, they called the man in who had been born blind, and they asked, God should get the glory for this because we know that Jesus is a sinner. The guy says, look, I don't know whether he's a sinner, but I do know this. I was blind, and now I can see. That's all I know. But what did he do? They asked. How did he heal you? Look, the man exclaimed. I told you once. Didn't you listen? Why do you want to hear it again? Hold on. This is the best part. Do you want to become his disciples too? Yikes. That's not what you want to say to a religious person who definitely doesn't like the guy you're following. They get ticked off. They start screaming and yelling and spitting all over the place. They pick up rocks like they're going to stone him. And they're like, and it says, they cursed him. Listen, when it says they cursed him, this is legit, okay? This is not like they were like, a curse be upon you and your household. They were like, F on you, son! How dare you say that to me? Don't you know who I am? I'm a respectable religious leader. Yikes. He straight got cussed out by church leaders. They said, you are his disciple. We're disciples of Moses. We know God spoke to Moses, but we don't even know where this man comes from. Well, that's very strange, the man replied, because he healed my eyes. Yet you don't even know where he comes from. We know God doesn't listen to sinners, but he's ready to hear those who worship him and do his will. Ever since the world began, no one's been able to open the eyes of someone born blind. If this man was not from God, he couldn't have done this. They yelled at him again. You were born a total sinner, they answered. And you're trying to teach us. And they threw him out of the synagogue. Kicked him out of church. That's what religious people do when you try to have a conversation with them or just try to tell them about the reality of the freedom that comes in Jesus. They kicked him out of church. When Jesus heard what happened, he went and found the man. And he said, do you believe in the Messiah? Do you believe in the Son of Man? The guy answered, who is he, sir? I want to believe in him. Jesus looked at him and said, you have seen him, and he is speaking to you now. I love how Jesus is like, he's like so mysterious, right? He's like, you have seen him, and you are speaking to him now. What? You can't just say it's me, bro. I mean, it's so mysterious. I love it. It's awesome. Yes, Lord, I believe, the man said, and he worshiped Jesus. Then Jesus told him, I entered the world to render judgment, to give sight to the blind, and to show those who think that they see that they are actually blind. Some of the Pharisees who were standing nearby heard him and asked, oh, so you're saying we're blind? Jesus said, if you were blind, you wouldn't be guilty, but you remain guilty because you claim you can see. Ooh. Oh. Yikes. Remember how Jesus liked to pick fights, right? Jesus
man, he just did not hold back, and I love it. So listen, a couple things I want you to get from this, all right? So remember, when you let him, Jesus gets down in the mud in your life. When Jesus gets down in the mud in your life, miracles happen. But here's the deal about when miracles happen. First, okay, when miracles happen, some people will see what Jesus has done in you. Some will see it, and they'll be like, wow, that was awesome. Remember, in this story, his neighbors and some who knew him, as the blind beggar asked each other, isn't this the guy who used to sit and beg? His own parents said, look, we know this is our son, and we know he was born blind, but we don't know how he could see or who healed him. So when God does something amazing in you, when God does a miracle, people will see it. There will be those who are like, whoa, that is amazing. What happened? And then you get a chance to begin to tell them your story, to tell them what he did, to tell them all that Jesus has done. And that's what this guy did. He went out from the very moment he washed the mud off his eyes, and he began to tell the story, give the testimony of what happened. But here's the other side of it. When miracles happen, some people will see what Jesus has done in you, but some will choose not to see. Guys, the miraculous is happening all around you every moment of every day. I don't know if you realize that or not. There are miracles happening right in front of you every single day, and often we are blind to the miracles that are happening. We don't see them because we aren't looking through the eyes of hope and peace and love and joy, the eyes of innocence and the miraculous that only Jesus can give when he slaps a little mud on them. Sometimes we need a little mud slapped in our eyes so that we get new vision, get new sight, and we can see the miraculous around us. You have somebody in your life that loves you? That's a miracle. Did you wake up this morning? That's a miracle. Are you breathing right now? That's a miracle. And too often we take for granted even the simple, small miracles of every moment, everyday life. We take them for granted, and we forget how miraculous it is that I am literally a mass of carbon and chemicals, breathing and walking and self-aware. That is not possible in an evolutionary scheme. That is only possible when a creative creator decides to mash all that junk together and says, watch this, and breathes life. If only we could do that. Yes, I agree. Thank you. When miracles happen, there will be those that see it and are drawn to it, and those that choose to ignore. Guys, in my life, as I have desired to see more of the miraculous, I have seen more of the miraculous. As I have seeked God more, sought him, and done everything I can to pursue him, he has given me more of him. And as he's given me more of him, I've experienced more of what he does. And what he does is miraculous. But it can only come from you. It can only start with you. Only you can choose to begin to see the miraculous around you every moment, every day. Only you can choose to begin to see it so that he will allow you to see more and more and more. Some of the people he was with were like, oh no, that just looks like him. That's not him. That's not the guy. But he was like, yeah, it's me, I'm telling you. Verse 24, it said, for the second time they called him in and told him God should get the glory for this because we know this Jesus is a sinner. So what happened? You guys ever heard of the word testimony? Anybody ever heard of the word testimony? If you've been a Christian any length of time, you've probably heard it. Maybe you've heard someone give a testimony. I think this is one of those words that we don't really actually wrap around our brains the meaning of the word and what it is that is happening, okay? Testimony. First of all, this is the power of a testimony. It is an almost unanswerable way of dealing with objections. and arguments and contention. In other words, I can argue the Bible, I can argue history, I can argue theology, I can debate people that all day long, and there will be people that come against me, and they will debate my theology. They will debate the Bible. They will debate the history of all these things, right? And they'll have all kinds of great knowledge, and I'll have all kinds of great knowledge, and we'll go back and forth in a debate. You know what people can't debate? The power of what they can't argue, the power of what they cannot contend with. It's when I use these words. I was this, but now I am this. When the man said those words, those powerful words, I don't know who this Jesus is. I don't know how he healed me. I don't know whether he's a sinner or not, but I do know this. I was blind, and now I can see. That is the simplicity of the power of a testimony. For me, you guys, I can tell you this. I was an alcoholic. And I have not had a drink since I was 21 years old. Now, do I think drinking is a sin? No, I don't think drinking is a sin. I think it's stupid. You want to know why I think it's stupid? Because I was there. I know what happens when people drink. It's stupid. It's never good. It's always really, 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 really stupid. Every time. Amen? Thank you. It's not a sin. It's just stupid. And it's expensive. Listen, I would much rather spend like $3 on a really good root beer. Like the glass bottle that's like, ooh, yum. Than $34 on something that tastes like butthole gasoline. What in the world? For real, like when I drank, I never enjoyed it. Every time I drank anything, I'd be like, what is that? Okay, so listen. This is one of the testimonies that I can use. I once was an alcoholic, and now I am free. Another one I can give you is this. I once was a violent human being who picked a fight with everyone I possibly could. And now I've been set free. I'm telling you guys, there was a point in my life where if you looked at me funny, I punched you in the face. You said the wrong thing to me, I instantly went into that violent, defensive, just out of control mode. It was not okay. I'm lucky I didn't end up in jail. I'm going to tell you right now. And I don't say these things for you to be like, oh, cool, Pastor Steve, look at what you are. No, I say this because what is a testimony? A testimony is the power of freedom to say, I once was this, and now I'm this. I once was there, but now I'm here. And nobody can argue that with me. Nobody can say, God didn't set you free from alcohol. Because be like, really? Then how come I haven't had a drink since I was 21 when I couldn't stop drinking before that? And I was at a youth camp at this incredible altar call. I was a youth leader. In fact, I was a secret alcoholic. This is the worst part about my alcoholism. I was a secret alcoholic leading students at youth camps and at youth rallies and all kinds of stuff like that. And I was a hypocrite. Okay, y'all know that Christians are hypocrites, right? Everybody who says they're a Christian is a hypocrite because there's not one person who fully measures up to the amazing scale that is Jesus Christ. So if you say you're a Christian, you are a hypocrite, and God bless you for it. Own it and do the best you can to move past it and get closer to Jesus. That's all you can do, right? If anyone ever says, oh, I don't like Christians, Christians are hypocrites. Yeah, they are. Say, yes, they are. Yes, they are. I am a hypocrite, a big one. I judged you the moment you walked up to me. You should have seen the things I was thinking about you. They were just jacked up and terrible and awful. And I'm still thinking them about you right now, if I'm going to be completely honest, because you're weird looking and stuff. But Jesus loves you. Tell me you don't judge people when you walk up to you, right? People walk up to you, you're like, ew. Ugh, I don't even want to talk to them. Ow! Gross. All right. Shh. Testimony. Here is the thing about a testimony, all right? So there's power in a testimony. There's something that people can't argue with in a testimony to say, I was this and now I'm this. I was here and now I'm there. I was trapped and Jesus set me free. It's the difference Jesus has made in my life. People can't argue with that. But here's the other side of it. Testimony. That word, can I answer it? Can I answer your phone? I love answering phones at church. That's my favorite thing to do because you pick it up and you say, why aren't you here? Where are you? That's what you should try to do sometime. Okay, so listen. A testimony. What does a witness in court give? Oh, a testimony. So here's the deal. In life, you are on trial. Not only you, but every person you meet, everywhere you go. You are on trial. Trial for every sin you've ever committed, every judgment that you've ever cast, every thought you've ever had, everything you've ever done, every place you've ever been. And some of y'all are like, oh, crap. That's a real scary thing to think about. Yes, it is. But here's the deal about a testimony. When you give a testimony is a witness statement. You are giving a witness statement to Jesus Christ and his power in your life. And in essence, what happens is you no longer are on trial because he switches places with you. And all of a sudden, the testimony you give becomes the testimony that he is. And that testimony is not just for you, it's for everyone who hears it, who is also on trial for the crimes that they have committed against the God of all creation. The testimony is a legal statement that you give to find freedom for those who have been charged with a crime. We are all witnesses, every one of us. And it is our burden, it is our privilege, it is our divine calling to give testimony, to be a witness to him and what he's done for us. Let's wrap this up. So, all right. When miracles happen, some people will see what Jesus has done. When miracles happen, some people will choose not to see. When miracles happen, everyone wants to know how. In verse 10, they asked, who healed you? What happened? In verse 26, they were like, but what did he do? How did he heal you? Let me tell you this. They were not asking this because part of it was that they were checking on Jesus. Part of it is this. They wanted to know how they could recreate this. Because they were like, shoot, if this guy figured out the way for people to be healed from blindness, this is a cash cow, right? This is something that like we could figure out how to charge for. Kind of like the reason that the cure for cancer hasn't actually been released to the market because all of the pharmaceutical companies are holding on to it because they can charge $10 million for every single person who gets cancer and blah, 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 blah. Okay, so there you go. Anyway, okay, so listen. They're like, we figured this out. If we figure this out, we figure out the formula Jesus used, then we can cash in on this. We can make some money. So how did he heal you? What did he do? What did he use? How did he do it? What happened? What is it that took place? How were you healed? Because we want to recreate that. Okay, so what did you say? He spit on the ground. He wiped it on your eyes. All right, y'all, let's start practicing this. Here we go. Everybody. All right, I need a volunteer. Somebody, come on. I love that you guys are willing to do, you know what? Give me 5. Give me 5. I love that you guys are willing to do stuff like that. All right, so listen. Shh. Can you imagine if Jesus was formulaic with his miracles? You gotta realize, Jesus never did the same miracle the same way twice. Did he heal more than one blind person that we see in the Gospels? Yes. Did he spit on more than one person? No. No, he did not. Did he raise more than one dead person back to life? Yes. Did he do it the same way twice? No. Why? Because he knew that human beings would be like, oh, what's the secret formula? I got to put that down, write it down, put it in a book of spells. Yeah, that's what I'll do. Yeah.
yeah, put it in a book of spells, and then we'll recreate it, and it'll be magical. Ooh. Right? You imagine every time a blind person walks by, people just spitting in the mud, being like, slippity slap, Wingardium Leviosa, poof, you're set free, right? No, it doesn't work that way. Aren't you glad it doesn't work that way? Yeah. So listen, they want to know how. But here's the last thing I want you to remember. Last thing I want you to know. In fact, the most important thing for you to grasp tonight is this. It's not about the how. It's about the who. We say that? Say, it's not about the how. It's about the who. Say, it's not about the how. It's about the who. Say, it's not about the how. It's about the who. Wrong. So listen. Shh. Jesus told them when they were questioning him, when they were drilling him, when they were interrogating him, he told them, Jesus came and made mud and put it on my eyes. And he told me, go to the pool in Siloam and wash yourself. So I went and washed, and now I can see. Where is he now, they asked. I don't know, he replied. They began to accuse Jesus. They began to yell terrible things about Jesus. And the man said this, I don't know whether he's a sinner or not. I don't know how he did what he did. I don't know even what it was that he did. But I do know this. I was blind, and now I can see. And then the most important statement that he made in verse 38, when Jesus confronts him, Jesus goes and encounters him. Jesus goes and finds the man. The man says this, yes, Lord, I believe. And then he worshiped Jesus. And Jesus told him, I came to this world to bring judgment, to give sight to the blind, and show those who think they see that they are blind. I would venture to say that there are not many people in this room, at least I hope not, who think they can see. If they are, it's time to wake up. Because you're blind. And you need to be set free. That old song, Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found, was blind, but now I see. It's not about the how, it's about the who. And I promise you this right now. I want you to close your eyes real quick. I'm not going to spit on you, don't worry. When you let Jesus get down in the mud in your life, miracles happen. And for many of you in this room, I know you need a miracle. For some, maybe you need a miracle of God's provision. You need him to provide something. For others, a miracle of healing, whether for yourself or for someone you know and love. For others, a miracle of just being set free. Free from the past, free from the hurt, free from the pain, free from the labels and all the things that other people have said to you and about you. For others, whatever your miracle might be that you need, he stands waiting, ready to give you your miracle. You just got to be willing to let him get down in the mud with you and mix that mud up and slap it on your face a little bit and open your eyes so you can see. If you're here tonight and you're tired of sitting in the dirt all alone, tired of sitting in the mud by yourself, tired of sitting with your eyes closed, maybe for the very first time, or the 1001st time if you've been in church any length of time. I don't care how many times you've done this before. There's never enough, because we can never give ourselves enough fully to Him. And if you're here and you say, I need that miracle, I need Him to get down in the mud with me and mix it up, I need Him to set me free, I need Him to break me out of my 13 reasons why, or 20 reasons why, or 15 reasons why, or 178 reasons why. I need Him to do what only He can do. I need Him to bring me His love, bring me His peace, bring me His hope, bring me His healing, bring me His freedom. I need Him to get down and mix it up in my mud. You're here and you say, Jesus, I need you to mix me some mud tonight. Will you throw your hand up in the air? Nobody looking around? Hold it there for just a second. Go ahead and put it back down. I'm going to ask Christian to come up on the stage. We're going to close our time with just a few moments of worship. But before we do, I want to ask you to say this prayer with me. Everybody in this room, will you just say these words? Jesus. Jesus. I'm tired. Tired of being stuck on the ground. Tired of being all alone. Tired of having to face all of this. And you know what all this is. Jesus, tonight, I want to ask you to get down in the mud in my life. Because I know that when you get down in the mud in my life, miracles happen. I don't know how. I don't know why. But I just know that you do. And so, Jesus, I need you. Because it's not about the how. It's about the who. And you are the who, Jesus. So set me free tonight. Jesus, I believe in you. I believe you lived in this world. You died for me. You didn't stay dead. But you rose from the grave on that very first Easter to pay the price for me so that I could be set free once and for all. I don't have to follow any lists of rules and regulations. I just have to trust you and love you and believe you and obey you. So Jesus, today, I ask for your help because I can't do this on my own. By myself, I fail every time. So Jesus, mix it up in my life right now. Stir some mud and set me free so that I can stand boldly before everyone I meet and proclaim, I once was blind, but now I see. Jesus, you see every mode of blindness in this room, spiritual, emotional, physical, financial. You see every mode of blindness in this room and how it has manifested in the lives of every single one of these people in this place. And Jesus, we ask that you would get down in the mud with us tonight, that you would mix it up, that you would stir up all these things and just begin to set us free, that you would put that mud upon us, that you would apply that healing salve so that when we simply go out of faith and do what you've commanded us to do, wash in your pool, wash in your love, wash in the blood of Jesus that was shed on that cross, simply by crying out to you that, Jesus, we will be set free once and for all, never to be the same again. We will stand before you with boldness and cry out, I once was blind, but now I see. I once was blind, but now I see. I once was blind, but now I see. Now I see, now I see. And I've been set free. No one can argue that, and no one can take that away from me. I may not know everything about the Bible, about theology, but I know one thing. I once was blind, but now I see. As we wrap up our time together, will you stand up with me?
we're going to sing one last song together. And just, I want you to cry out to God. Cry out your anthem to him. Cry out through your heart, through your soul, through your innermost being. Just begin to cry out as we worship in these final moments.